From untamed mangroves to the depths of wild woods, nature wages war. Clashes in the canopy, alpine skirmishes, and jungle combat. Every corner of the woodlands hosts a wild battle. These are nature's forest fights. In the wild, life has its limits. Only a select few can share the spoils. The right to mate, fuel to survive, a place to call home. In extreme conditions, against fierce opponents, wild animals battle for existence, using power, showmanship, and sheer brutality to conquer and prosper. These are the planet's wild battlegrounds. In a dark corner of the Australian rainforest, a huntsman devours his meal. All that's left of a green tree frog is its head. Huntsmen are remarkable stealth predators, able to subdue animals larger than themselves. But the forest hunting ground is crammed with creatures that must battle for survival on a daily basis. Some have evolved exceptional defenses. A peppermint stick insect blends into a pandanus leaf. The huntsman has seen through this clever camouflage and creeps up from behind. But the stick insect has a reserve of chemical weapons. Two glands are locked on the approaching hunter. And fire. The spider gets a jetful of spray in its eyes. Extremely painful when you have 8 of them. Tropical rainforests are the most diverse ecosystems on Earth. And the richest rainforests in the world can be found on the equatorial island of Borneo. Giant rivers crash down from the mountains, delivering fresh water and life to the jungles below. The lowlands are hot and wet, ideal for plant growth. Some of the most productive mangrove systems on Earth can be found here. It's also a draw card for the planet's largest reptile. A saltwater crocodile returns to her nest. She is an apex predator. But her hatchlings are still learning. In order to climb the food chain, they must wait until the cover of darkness to hunt. The night is quiet, but the young crocodile isn't the only predator patrolling these waters. It has competition. A buffy fish owl is also on the lookout for its next meal. It watches the young crocodile stalk a mudskipper. Without any luck. Thinking it can do better, the owl swoops down for a kill. But also emerges empty-handed. The young crocodile spies an opportunity downstream. It's second time lucky for the owl, too. It lands a fish. It's a mangrove smorgasbord, where predators are spoilt for choice. The mangroves are an intertidal wonderland, perfect for the mudskipper's unique biology. This distinctive fish is like a window to evolution 400 million years ago. A halfway step between life in the water and on land. Specially adapted fins propel them across the mudflats. As long as they stay wet, mudskippers can remain out of the water for extended periods. They carry moisture inside their mouths and enlarged gill sacs. And they can extract oxygen directly from their damp skin. During high tide, the mudskippers wallow in the warm shallows. But as the waters recede, the territorial males eye each other off. At low tide, they get busy. Each has a U-shaped burrow, some over a meter deep. They must ensure it stays open, despite the constant influx of water and sediment. It's here that the female lays her eggs. The biggest challenge is keeping intruders out. Some mudskippers build walls around their homes to mark out the no-go zone. Invasions are not appreciated. Tempers rage when a home invader refuses to leave. The fish use their gaping mouths like suckers, aiming to get a hold. Luckily, these fights are mostly just a display of power and dominance. A winning male watches as his challenger slinks away. The contest is over. and his territory secured. Covering more than 2 million acres, Yellowstone is the oldest national park in the world. The region formed in a massive volcanic eruption more than 500,000 years ago. The lava creek created a giant caldera 45 miles wide. The volcanic, nutrient-rich soils form a vital feeding ground for a wide range of mammals, from herds of elk to families of bears and ground squirrels, who live life somewhere near the bottom of the food chain. A vixen hunts them in the wildflowers. The spring warmth has brought a new urgency to daily life. The vixen's kits have just begun to eat solid food. It's almost impossible to keep the hungry youngsters in check. As they play, the vixen keeps a constant eye on their surroundings. With a variety of predators nearby, any lapse in attention could be fatal for her offspring. The raven can't get to the pups, so it makes do with some leftover squirrel. The fox father journeys home after a long absence. He assumes sentry duty, protecting his family in the burrow. But he soon catches an unpleasant smell on the breeze. A badger nearby. Armed with huge claws and an aggressive nature. As the badger approaches the fox den, he comes face to face with the guarding father. The fox defends the den with all his strength. Eventually, the invader slips in the back entrance. But the badger emerges empty-handed. Luckily, the kits are playing outside under their mother's watchful eye. However, it's only a matter of time before the badger returns. high in the mountain forests of China, lives a very unusual tree dweller. There aren't many animals that can survive the large seasonal swings of climate here. But the golden snub-nosed monkey thrives at extreme altitudes. Their home is a small region of southwestern China, between 1,500 to 3,000 meters above sea level. In winter, snow falls across the range, sending temperatures plummeting. It's thought that the monkeys' noses are snubbed to avoid frostbite. And their fine golden coats are marvelous insulators. Food becomes extremely limited once the fruit and leaves are gone. The monkeys must live off lichen, moss, and bits of bark. Even as the seasons change, limited resources breed intense competition. The males mostly keep to themselves, except during mating time. Down on the forest floor, a battle is brewing. A young challenger wants to take over the dominant male's harem. Baring his razor-sharp teeth, the dominant male attempts to deter the challenger. But the young male persists. The troop is whipped into a frenzy as their leadership hangs in the balance. The challenger retreats to fight another day. Although the males engage in combat, the females ultimately choose their mate. And he'd better be good at grooming. If the females grow cold to his advances, he'll become the target for a takeover. But as loyal as they may appear toward the alpha, some females will have affairs behind his back. It's a clever strategy. Males will protect their own genetic line. If a challenger wins the harem, he can't be sure that the infants aren't his own. So he lets them live. And so, free love brings a semblance of peace to the mountain battlegrounds of southwestern China. Dawn breaks over northeastern Australia. Flying foxes return to their roosts in the Daintree, the oldest tropical rainforest in the world. Estimated at 180 million years old, the Daintree has evolved in isolation. Flanked by one of the longest mountain ranges in the world, the Great Dividing Range, some areas of the forest receive more than 6 meters of rain a year. The downpour promotes an incredible diversity of plants and bird life. From the giant cassowary to brilliantly colored kingfishers. It's also home to an avian romancer, known as the satin bowerbird. The male looks strikingly different to the female. A glossy blue-black with violet eyes. Those intriguing eyes are fixated on his potential lover, watching from a branch above. He knows she is fond of blue, a rare color in the forest. This display demonstrates his painstaking efforts. He's made a trail of blue straws and cutlery, bottle tops and plastic rings, leading to his carefully constructed bower of sticks. An ornamental stage for his grand performance. He positions himself in the center for some finishing touches, coating the bower with vegetable matter and saliva. She drops down for a closer inspection. He's on a winning streak, and it's almost time for his courtship dance. But in the rainforest, things rarely go to plan. A brush turkey has made his own giant nest nearby, and the bowerbird's activity catches his eye. The turkey barges into the scene, without a hint of consideration for the painstaking work that's gone into this festival of blue. But there are even bigger problems to worry about. A carpet python eyes the scene. He feeds on birds when he can catch them. The snake slides towards the bower. The carpet python is an ambush hunter, but there is no chance of a subtle approach here. The turkey spots the snake long before it reaches the bowerbirds. He begins kicking up a storm, sending detritus flying at the serpent. It appears unfazed, until the turkey becomes violent. It's too much for the snake, who heads in the other direction. Unfortunately for the bowerbird, so does his love interest. One battle won, another lost. Across the rainforest, battles rage in almost every corner. A pair of male rhino beetles lock horns, wrestling for the right to mate. A platypus devours small invertebrates. And high in the treetops, green ants battle the forces of nature to construct a nest. Bending twigs and large leaves into a usable form takes brute strength and cooperation. Once the nest site is chosen, the ants form a chain, worker upon worker, bridging the gap between one leaf and another. Using their mandibles like staples, they slowly pull the leaves together. A line of workers hold the foliage as other ants join them. They collect larvae, squeezing out sticky silk like tubes of glue. It's perfect for bonding the walls of the nest. The structure is complete. A small treehouse, impervious to the rain and well camouflaged, ideal for raising offspring. More than 500,000 workers unite to feed and raise the brood. When it comes to conquering prey, green ants are just as determined. Overwhelming insects much larger than themselves. Most steer clear of green ants if they can. Except for one curious-looking spider, which has chosen to live among them, turning the ants' cooperative strength into a weakness, the green ant mimic. Markings on his rear end resemble an ant's head. Reflective hairs on his body catch the light, imitating an ant's shiny exoskeleton. Lifting his legs to resemble antennae, the illusion is complete. It's a delicate high-wire act. One wrong move, and the spider will be recognized as an imposter. A worker collects larvae. He is alone and vulnerable. A perfect target. Even as it faces its predator, there are no signs of aggression. Disguise is a powerful weapon on the rainforest battlefield. Above the alpine forests of Colorado, the sound of clashing skulls echoes across the mountain. It's rutting season. The ewes are in heat, and the rams have grown aggressive and territorial. Before they can mate, males must demonstrate their strength and dominance. As the region is gripped by cold, tempers continue to rage hot. Without their impressive battle gear, the sheep wouldn't survive combat. As they age, their horns become massive, curling in a keratin loop. They are filled with air spaces, bending and cushioning the blow on impact. It helps reduce rapid brain deceleration and the chance of a catastrophic injury. These high-impact battles can last hours. Before one of the males eventually concedes defeat. But for the victor, winning the head-butting competition is only half the battle. Females can be quite selective. Brute force can't conquer everything on these frozen battlegrounds. Winter has arrived in Yellowstone. Finding food in this frozen world has become a challenge. Elk scrape the snow to reach lichen and fungi beneath. A golden eagle pillages the fallen. The vixen hunts alone. Her pups are gone. She lost the battle with the badger long ago. There is no easy game here. She must also find food under the snow. But as a carnivore, she seeks a very different meal. When the northern hemisphere lies under a thick blanket of snow, small mammals inhabit a new world beneath. They survive in the subnivean zone, an open, shallow layer held up by vegetation and ice. Warmed by the ground, the subnivean zone is protected from wind chill at a stable 0 degrees Celsius. Cozy, but not entirely safe. Any movement makes a sound. And the vixen is listening. Rotating each ear independently, she tries to determine an exact position. Accuracy is hard in a blind snow dive. The hit rate of a pounce is less than 20%. But this is a game of persistence. And there's more to it than meets the eye. When foxes pounce in a northeasterly direction, they are much more successful, hitting their target in 3 out of 4 attempts. It's thought they can detect the Earth's magnetic field using a special protein in their eye. They align the sound of prey to the slope of the magnetic field, achieving a better estimation of the prey's location. Unique adaptations provide an edge in the battle against hunger. Australia's unique climate and geology has driven novel ways to cover large distances. Kangaroos can't walk or run, but that's no handicap. Their giant legs propel them over 50 kilometers an hour. But for male kangaroos, hind legs are also weapons. Alphas must endure brutal battles to retain the top spot, because only the best may breed. From the moment they leave the pouch, male joeys enter the boxing ring. They begin to hone their sparring technique, and their mother is a reluctant punching bag. But as her joey gets stronger, he needs to practice with a partner his own size. Fights usually begin with a slap to the face. The ultimate aim is to grab the other male by the neck and wrestle him down. At this age, there's not much technique. But the sparring gradually becomes more violent as time passes. This mob's alpha is in his prime. Rippling with hardened muscles from years of sparring. The challenger is undeterred. Without committing to a fight, he has no chance of mating with the females. The stakes are high. Leaning back on his tail, the challenger lands a winding blow. Thickened belly hide repels sharp claws. Internal injuries and broken bones can be a death sentence. The alpha male's experience provides the winning edge. The challenger retreats to his corner of the ring, where he'll gain enough experience to try another day. Butterflies have been on Earth for more than 200 million years, longer than flowering plants. They've lived through 2 mass extinctions, enduring volcanic eruptions, ice ages, and monumental shifts in habitat. Clinging to survival despite their delicate bodies. Today, they continue to impress with their feats of endurance, none more so than the monarch butterfly. Each year, it embarks on a massive 2-way migration. From summer breeding in Northern America, the butterflies journey around 4,000 kilometers south, to their winter hibernation grounds in the conifer forests of Mexico. Come spring, they head north again like birds. It's only in the north that the monarchs find a special type of plant, critical to their larvae's survival. Females must lay their eggs on the underside of milkweed leaves, which contain a sap toxic to most other animals, but not to their newly hatched caterpillars, who devour milkweed with great enthusiasm. As they consume the plant, they also become poisonous, protecting them from predators. Their bright stripes are a warning to stay clear. After 2 weeks of gluttony, the larvae are ready for their spectacular transformation. Spinning a cocoon of green and gold, they emerge from the chrysalis 3 weeks later. The butterflies live for just a few weeks, with multiple generations breeding and dying in the summer. Except for the last generation of the season, which can live as long as 8 months. But first, they must find a way south, or they will perish in the bitterly cold northern winter. Using the sun as a compass, the butterflies make a life or death sprint to Mexico. Most will not make it. Prairies that were once full of wildflowers have been replaced with monoculture crops and cities. Chemical sprays are abundant. Heavy frosts take their toll. And they must cross regions with barely any food or drink. At the start of winter, clouds of butterflies ascend the mountains of southwestern Mexico. Fir trees change hue from green to a shimmering gold. The males that have made it here have one purpose: to mate before they die. Only the females will live to travel north once more. As the males expire, they leave behind a pheromone of love. A long-lasting scent that lingers on the trees and in the air. A message to next year's migrating monarchs. Their battle of endurance is over. They are finally home. From lowlands to mountaintops, forests cover less than a third of the Earth's land surface. But they provide shelter and food to 80% of its terrestrial species. Billions of animals, all competing for a chance at life. For wild battlegrounds to thrive, a single species must bring order to the chaos. In India, that animal is the tiger. Prowling the earth for more than 1 million years, shaped through evolution into the ultimate apex predator. Despite being among the tiger's favorite prey, the deer benefit from his presence. Without such a predator, they would ravage the landscape, threatening the health of all animals in the forest, including themselves. The jungle depends on the daily battles of its many inhabitants, great and small. Their destinies are entwined, even as they compete for existence. Wild battlegrounds by design, for without the fight, there is no wild future.